What's up, guys? Today I want to go over my top 5 bass fishing lures I like to use here in Florida. Most of them you can use them year round, but some of them are pretty season dependent. But let's go over the first one, and this is going to be ranked from what I use the most to what I don't use the most, but I still like to use them a lot, so that's why it's my top 5. I'll throw in some fish catches here with the lures that I'm showing. So lure number 1, which if you've been following the channel for quite some time now, it's no surprise, which is the speed worm or any kind of swimming worm. This here is the Zoom Magnum speed worm and June bug. It's my favorite color, my favorite bait to use pretty much year round because there's so many different ways that you can fish this. I'll be doing a different video on specifically how to fish this and where to throw it and stuff like that. But for the most part, it's always going to be 15 to 17 pound fluorocarbon, a 4/0 extra wide gap hook, a 3/16 specifically tungsten, and it's not pegged, it's just free lining, you know, and just like that. So with the 3/16, I feel like it's light enough to where I can burn it on top of the water, and it's heavy enough to where I can let it sink and drag it on the bottom. But I have it paired up right now with a YakRods 7.2 medium heavy fast. This is their bladed jig rod. So something around the 7.2, I think I would like a 7.4 to be honest, so I can get a long cast and I can keep it on top of the water a lot easier. And I think it's just a little bit more parabolic bend is what I need too, maybe. But for the most part, this is doing all right. Like again, I'd like to have maybe a little bit longer, 7.3, 7.4. I have it with a Lose Tournament Pro. This is a 7.5 to 1. Which is like middle of the road gear ratio. I think it's just fine. And yeah, that's pretty much the speed worm setup. I like using the Zoom speed worm, Strike King cutter worm, or the Bass Assassin RSB worm. It just really depends on what I can get my hands on at the moment, but I'll always go to the Zoom speed worm, the Magnum size first. Big one. Lose reel, speed worm. Oh, and it's tagged. It's tagged. So lure number 2, or technique number 2, whatever you want to call it, would be punching grass mats, hyacinth mats, hydrilla mats. Unfortunately, I don't have a rod right now, and I'm not really doing a whole bunch of punching at the moment anyways. But what I do like using is the Gambler BB Cricket in a black and blue color, which is this little guy right here. I paired that up with a 3/0 flipping hook, and depending on how thick the grass is, it determines on what size weight I need to use. But for the most part, I use like 1.5 ounces to 1.25 ounces. Try to go as light as I can with going through, but sometimes I have to go up to a 2 ounce or maybe 2.5. Just really depends on how thick the hyacinth or whatever kind of matted grass I'm going through. So that's that lure, and I pair that up with a 7-Eleven heavy, extra heavy. I don't really have a strong preference, but something stout enough to where I can rip the fish out of the mat, but also I need a tip on it to let the fish suck in the bait, because there's a lot of hardware with that big old tungsten on there, and I just want them to get it all the way in their mouth before I can set the hook. So a little bit of tip, a lot of backbone, that's what I'm looking for. A fast gear ratio reel, like the Lose, the heavy duty one. I'll post it right here, but that's going to be my setup soon when I can get one, but unfortunately I don't have one. But I like using that, or recently I've been throwing this in some hydrilla mats, which is the Strike King Rodent. Same setup with a 3/0 flipping hook. And I'll just throw that in there. I don't think your color really matters too much. This is the blue crawl color. Any kind of black and blue, dark color, green pumpkin, I don't think it really matters, because I think you're just gonna hit them right in the face and they just react to it. Nope. It's a bass. It's a bass. That's fish number 4. Lure number 3 is something I like to use while I'm searching for fish, and you got a little bit of wind like I have right now, which is a bladed jig, either a Z-Man jackhammer or the Thunder Cricket like I have on now. This is like a bluegill color with a gold blade. If I'm trying to mimic any kind of bait fish, a gold blade is good here in Florida. For a trailer, I like using the 6th Sense Jogo minnow, like this one here. This is a green pumpkin, some sunfish gill or something another, but I'll post it here. I like using that kind of color, or a black and blue. This is a black and blue right here. And I'll pair this one up with a bongo crawl from 6th Sense, usually in a black and blue, just to give it a bigger profile, more like a bluegill if they're going after bluegill other than shad. I'll pair that, like I have that paired up right now with a Lew's LFS 7.4 medium heavy moderate action. I have it on 14-pound Sunline crank. First time using this line. So far I like it. I haven't had any problems with it. You saw me fight that 7-pound bass on Griffin with this setup here, and I have it on a Lew's Custom Pro. And this Lew's Custom Pro I did not buy. I won it at the championship when I won the championship for FKBT. And I gotta say, this rod, or this reel, I think it's worth the money. Like I said, I didn't buy it, but using it, it has been flawless. It's cast really good. I don't know what else to say about it, but this is an 8.3 to 1, maybe a little bit too fast for a chatterbait, but I wanted to see how the reel performed. I might just take this chatterbait off and use this as a speedworm rod, and then get another rod specifically for the chatterbait with a slower gear ratio, because I think 8.3 to 1 might be too fast, but it's been doing good. I mean, I love this setup. It's really good. And like I said, guys, in a separate video, I'll go over how I fish these lures specifically. So I'll have a dedicated speedworm video, a dedicated chatterbait video, dedicated punch-in video, but within due time. Jeez, Thunder Cricket. Lure number 4 is a Senko. Good old Senko, because there's so many different ways you can fish this too, but I like using it as a flipping setup, like light flipping, like around reeds, Kissimmee grass. I'll have that paired up with 40-pound braid. I don't have a specific brand of braid, just 40-pound braid. A 7.1 medium heavy fast seems to do just fine in like the light flipping scenarios. Again, I have it on a 3-aught flipping hook. Right now I have, this is a Gambler Fat Ace black blue tip, and I'll have a 5/16 tungsten on there with 1 bobber stop. So I feel like that's adequate enough for light flipping. Senko, you just can't go wrong with it. You can get bit anywhere, anytime, time of the year, and there's just different ways that you can fish it. Put it on a spinning rod, wacky rig it, you can Nico rig it. There's all kinds of different things you can do with it, but for the most part, I like using it as a light flipping stuff around reeds, around lily pads, stuff like that. I have that on a old Shimano Corrado. I don't even know what this gear ratio is or anything, but a fast gear ratio, because you're flipping and you want to make as much flips as possible, so you want a fast gear ratio, just get them in and out again. So 40-pound braid, that's what I like to flip. Lure number 5, I have it right here, which is the swim jig. One of the best things you can use down here in Florida. This is the 6th Sense Devine swim jig in a dirty gill color. This is my absolute favorite swim jig to use in that color. I'll post like some videos here like I have been of catching some good fish with this, but I've done really well with this specific swim jig, and I'll pair that up with a bongo crawl. So the bongo crawl, I feel like it helps keep it up in the water column a little bit better, and while you're just working it in the Kissimmee grass. And again, I'll use a 40-pound braid on that, a 7.3 medium heavy, maybe a heavy. You might want to go to a heavy, but you want something that's balanced right, because you want that raw tip up and bringing it through the Kissimmee grass, just shaking it. So with that, probably a 8 gear ratio reel. I don't have a rod with me because I lost it. I lost a lot of rods and reels lately, so I don't have a lot of this stuff. Those are my top 5 lures I like to use. That's a better one. All right. Whoa. Boat flips only. 6-cent swim jig right on the top of the mouth. Look where the hook is. And let's be real, I have one bonus lure. It's got to be 6 because I can't leave this out. This is really specific time of year that I like using this, which is the frog. This is the 6-cent Hush Frog, and it has been absolutely the best frog that I've thrown in a while. I like this color specifically, the black, blue. It's called Black Magic. But I like this color specifically because it just gets bit. You know, I've caught a lot of fish on this in Blue Cypress, and I caught a lot of fish in the St. John's, and that's what I won the state championship with for FKBT, which this frog here, just in the pads. And yeah, I mean, it works really good. The rod I used is this same rod that I flip with, which is no, not that one. The rod that I use is probably not the right one, but it's the YakRods tethered 6/8 medium heavy fast with 40-pound braid, and this is what I used the frog on, and the same reel too. This is just an inexpensive Lew's speed spool from Academy. It's 7.5 to 1, and it's held up with all the wear and tear that I do on it with the frog. But anyways, I have just a jig on there for right now from Champlain. It's not getting bit here. Oh, I'm stretching. 21, baby. There we go. Goodbye. But yeah, that's my top 6 lures I like to use here in Florida. There's some other stuff that work really well too, like a jerkbait, spinnerbait, but I don't use them all that much, you know. Like I said before, I will be posting some specific videos on how I fish these things, but I hope it points you in the right direction on what to throw here in Florida. You just gotta play around with different things and see what works best for you. Can't go wrong with the speed worm. You can get all these lures and all these rod and reel setups over at Omnia, and I'll link everything down below in the description. It goes to the link to my Omnia page, and if you buy anything from there, then I get a little bit of credit, recognition kind of deal. And you also can see all the fishing reports that I post in that profile as well. So hopefully this information can get you some more fish. But I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, leave a like on the bottom, subscribe if you've not subscribed yet. Peace.